This is a Stormtracker 16 special report.
And good evening. We just want to kind of bring you an update here on what's going on with this severe weather that we've been talking about for the last 6 or 7 days. The storm system, as you know, is now finally here, and it's bringing us some of that light snow out there, even moderate at times. That will continue to pick up in intensity as we move into the evening hours. And speaking of intensity, our own Allie Gallo is in the WNEP backyard. And Allie, tell us, what's it doing out there? How much have we had so far? We'll get into more details about the storm in just a minute, but what's it look like?
So it started snowing here in the backyard right just a couple minutes before 6 o'clock. It was flurries at first. It's definitely picked up since then. Even by the end of the 6 o'clock newscast, we started to see some snow covered back here in the backyard. But we are just under an inch now on our snowboard. Let me see if I can show it to you. So not quite an inch yet here on the snowboard, but almost there. And it definitely has picked up, Kurt. So I've already kind of brushed the snow off twice here in the backyard, so that kind of creating a pathway. But other than that, it's not too windy yet. Things are pretty quiet.
And Allie, I know when people look on the radar and it looks like it's been snowing in our backyard since 4 o'clock. What time did it actually start reaching the ground?
Exactly. So it showed up on radar since my shift started pretty much, but it didn't really start falling until right at 6 o'clock. The first flurry started to fall when we were getting ready to go on air.
Okay. Allie, we're going to check back with you in just a few minutes. Next, I want to go to Marshall. Marshall's actually out in Wilkes-Barre. Marshall, I appreciate you joining us on this update here. I know this storm is on a lot of people's minds because it's going to be impacting travel. Just tell us a little bit what you're seeing where you are, Marshall.
Yeah, Kurt, we've been out here for the last several hours, first in Pittston, now here in Wilkes-Barre Township. I'm actually standing right next to the Arena Hub Plaza. A lot of what we're seeing right now is the snow plows out here. Most of them that we've seen have been working on the parking lots in this vicinity, but we've also seen those PennDOT plows not necessarily plowing yet as much as just laying some of that initial salt to get that top layer off. We talked to one plow person actually recently who said with the potential of rain coming afterwards, they might just let some of those 24-hour parking lots kind of sit and let the rain take care of them or kind of soak them a little bit and then clear them out. But so far, not much activity here. It is coming down pretty heavy. I'd say we have close to an inch here in Wilkes-Barre Township as well. You can see the condition of the roads out here. We are along Mundy Street. This is Tamber Boulevard and Mundy Street. If you're familiar with the mall area, the Lowe's, the Dick's, the Olive Garden out here in Wilkes-Barre Township, that's where I'm standing right now. Not many vehicles out on the roadways right now. We've seen trucks. We've seen some other vehicles piling up at those rest stop areas. We actually spoke to a truck driver earlier, and you'll hear from him tonight at 10 and 11 on WNEP about his journey. He was actually just going to head down to Harrisburg, was a few hours short of getting there before things really started to pick up, and he had to get off of the highway. Obviously, PennDOT has now put in that restriction for commercial vehicles that went into effect at 5 p.m. for all the highways in this area. Although there's still, I'm looking up on the ridge over here, still some traffic on the highways moving at 45 miles per hour right now. Really cold out here, nice and cold. Not as cold as it was a couple days ago, but I'm feeling the chill, and it is moving sideways, as you can kind of tell here. The wind is a little bit of a factor, but right now still falling steadily. No signs of it letting up, Kurt.
Well, Marshall, I'll tell you what, unlike previous mornings where the temperature was just frigid, this morning at my house it was minus 5.6, so 6 degrees below zero. It's going to actually warm up tonight. We're actually going to be close to 40 by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, which is the crazy thing about this storm. Be safe out there, Marshall. Thank you so much for helping us out. And real quick, Marshall, what's in store for you tonight? You got the 10 and 11?
The 10 and 11, you'll hear from that truck driver I just mentioned about his journey. And, he says he tries to avoid the north. He's from Illinois. He was traveling from Connecticut, trying to come down. He makes more money, though, in the north in the winter, is what he told me. So awesome. That's part of the reason that he stayed here. But you'll see that at 10, as well as some of the activity with the plows going out here and what they're expecting in the coming days.
Okay, Marshall, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And Allie's in the backyard with us. And Allie, we talked about this storm system and seeing a changeover to a wintry mix. Now, we're not seeing that just yet where you are.
No, and like Marshall just said, it's cold, but I mean, it's nowhere near as cold as what you said. You had 5 below at your house this morning. We had 2 below here in this backyard, so that's the coldest temperature so far this winter season. But we're in the 20s. I think that at last check we had 27 here, and of course that's going to keep on rising overnight, close to 40 by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Allie, you look like you could make a postcard right now. It's so pretty out there in the backyard.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Christmas tree is still up. You know, if it was up to me, we'd leave the Christmas tree up all year.
Absolutely. Well, Allie, thank you so much. We're going to check back in with you in just a little bit. Also, I want to thank T-Dog, our director right now that's running the show back at the station. But T-Dog, if we could go now to Max 1, I want to talk about this storm and kind of break it down a little bit here. Here is the storm itself. And as you can see, it is moving north in our direction, obviously. But also something else that I want to note is notice the dry slot that's beginning to work in. I'm going to draw this arrow here. See this area right here? Watch the last couple frames. I'll put it on the now image. And there we go. See that drier air trying to work in there? The other thing worth noting, too, is we're already seeing that rain-snow mix line. This area right here that you see in pink, that's already over Philly. And that's gradually working its way to the north and to the west in that direction. So we are watching this. We do have winter storm warnings issued by the National Weather Service. As you can see there, that includes the Poconos. I've got a lot more to talk about on the Poconos in just a little bit, but northern tier, you can see winter storm warnings. Then we have the winter weather advisories for you folks in the Susquehanna Valley heading over into Luzerne County and down into our Schuylkill County, those areas down there. So we have a mixed bag of watches and warnings going on right now. I want to show you a closer look. This is what I was talking about. If you looked at the radar at, say, 5 o'clock, it was showing blues all over the region, but it wasn't quite reaching the ground just yet. It took a little time. The atmosphere has been very cold. I mentioned before, I was down to 6 below in my house this morning, so this is very dry air. But the interesting thing is we're going to see these temperatures warming up. And as they do, we're going to see a changeover to some of that sleet and freezing rain that we were talking about. I want to go ahead and jump to one of the models that we use here at the station, the graph model. This is a 4-kilometer model, so we can get right in there and give you an idea. So again, starting it off at 8:30 this evening. By midnight, see that changeover happening? That's in Hazleton, Stroudsburg, Bloomsburg, still snowing to the north. So we'll see higher snowfall totals, I think, back towards Wellsboro and Williamsport. But as I advance this, notice these last couple of frames right here. I want you to look over at Stroudsburg. You see where Stroudsburg is? Okay. Well, that's where we have the mountains, the Poconos. We get some upsloping here. The air's going to stay colder, have more moisture to work with. We may see some higher numbers in Monroe and Carbon County. So we're going to have to watch that pretty quickly. But even that mix line works all the way up into the northern tier. You can see near Montrose there. Tunkhannock, we'll see it mixing out there. And back towards Wellsboro, even Lock Haven State College. So we're going to go to sleet, some freezing rain, and just some plain rain. And the other thing as you're looking at this, know that we're going to get all our snow on the front side of this, a little bit on the back side, maybe a dusting to another inch, but we're going to get the brunt of our snow on the front side of this. So once we get that initial hit of snow, then we're going to see that change over to sleet and freezing rain. That's going to compress the snow that's out there. So unless you're going to be out there with a ruler at an elevated source at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be hard to tell exactly how much snow has fallen. But I want to do a recap here with you. Initially, again, it's going to start as snow, followed by a wintry mix overnight. And I think that mix comes after midnight, 1 o'clock, as I just showed you on there. Snow general 3 to 6 across the area. We did update our map by 1 inch. Just saying. We just tweaked it based on the data that's coming in. I'm going to show you more on that in just a second. But parts of central Pennsylvania could see 4 to 8 inches of snow by the time it's all said and done. And again, I'll show you another couple models here. Here's another model that we've been showing. This is the Euro. You folks that have been watching us here at WNEP, we've been showing these models. And again, this one has it snowing a little bit later, but it still shows that mix working in, and then also a dry slot. As you can see that, we're already seeing that dry slot that I pointed out earlier. with the system as it's moving through. So, and then a look ahead. Here's another model, one of our in-house favorites, the GFS. We like to use this one a lot. And again, there's midnight, still showing a little bit of snow. Look at 1 o'clock. Look at the drop off there. And that really pushes north then, and we end up with that mixing out. And this particular model brings some snow back into the equation on Monday as that system pulls away. I do think we're all going to be dealing with some snow showers and flurries throughout the day tomorrow. It's going to be breezy too. Those winds are going to be whipping. Here's just some gusts that you can expect. These are the valleys. Hilltops are going to be even stronger, but this gives you an idea as we move through the day tomorrow. So it's going to be one of those breezy days, and we're just going to have to batten down the hatches and deal with it. So new snowfall map, excuse me, here it is. You may remember Allie and Valerie were showing 2 to 5 eastern Pennsylvania with 3 to 7 over that northwestern corner of our viewing area. So we just upped it, tweaked it just a little bit because of the anticipated snow may last a little bit longer. But the bottom line is that we are looking at that transformation, that changeover to that sleet and freezing rain. And just started snowing there. We just saw someone throw in out in central Pennsylvania, started snowing there at about 5 o'clock in that neck of the woods. So I want to go back to the radar image. And again, this system is slowly working its way towards us. I'm going to zoom in. You can see that rain-snow mix line as I move back up towards Philadelphia, right there. You see the pinks? Yeah. Check the surface ops out there. It's changing over there already, and that's going to keep moving in our direction. So if you are looking at doing something outdoors, be prepared for delays tomorrow morning. I do think we're going to have just an icy, slushy mess, and we'll be looking at temperatures, as I mentioned, actually going up rather than down. And I'm just looking through my screen here. Whenever you work with this system remotely, I can tell you it just doesn't run. It doesn't go as smoothly as what it does when you're sitting there at the station and actually using one of the Max computers. So we are looking for the increased wind speeds. Let me just look down here. And future clouds and radar. Here's the hilltops. Okay. This gives you an idea. So this starts at noon tomorrow and works through. You can see we're looking at some over 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Actually, I believe that's from noon today through the overnight. That's from noon today through the overnight, midnight to 2 a.m. Look at that. We're looking at peak wind gusts possibly over 40 miles an hour on some of the hilltops. So the snow has just started here in northeastern and central Pennsylvania, and we're going to be just take a quick look at wind chill values for tomorrow. Not bad. I mean, considering where we have been as this system pulls away, we will be looking at wind chill values in the 20s rather than today, where we had wind chill values that were below zero this morning in some spots. So a recap, here it is, winter storm update. If you're going to be out and about, definitely bundle up. General 3 to 6, 4 to 8. And I mentioned the Poconos. May see a little bit more there. I think the Wyoming Valley, Susquehanna Valley, we're going to be safe in that 4 to 8, that northwest corner towards Tioga. And there are those areas that could be a possibility for a little bit more snow up there. Another thing I want to show you, now I'm not showing you this to scare you, I'm just showing it because this is part of the tools that we use when we're talking about power outages. This particular map showing the potential very early this morning, see that, 2, 3 o'clock, any yellow areas that you see, that would be isolated. So we're not expecting widespread, but we are expecting the potential for some isolated power outages. So, and we also want you to note that we want to see those photos of the snowfall totals safely. Get out there, show us road conditions, download the WNEP app. That's the easiest way to do it. That app is really useful, especially in situations like this. You get up-to-the-minute notices. Hey, we just updated the forecast. It'll come right to your phone and tell you, and you'll get the latest information. Also, you can text those pictures to 826-1616. Allie, are you still there in the backyard?
I'm still here.
Do we
Hi.
still have Allie in the backyard?
Yes.
Okay. Allie, just want to talk a little bit about the transition. once we go from the snow into the sleet, freezing rain, and then just plain rain, it looks like this system's going to want to drag down some colder air as it pulls away.
So, and we've been talking about that, all weekend, that I know a lot of people have been asking about their appointments tomorrow afternoon. So it's actually going to, the high tomorrow is going to happen in the morning. And then temperatures are going to fall as the day goes on tomorrow. The wind shifts. It's going to be more of a northwest wind as opposed to what we'll be dealing with tonight, which is more of an easterly wind. So it's going to be colder and brisk. And then that wintry mix that we have in the morning going to change back over to snow showers. But the difference is it won't be this steady snow like what we're seeing tonight. It's going to be more so scattered and, again, off and on showers and much lighter, but colder and brisk both Monday and Tuesday.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the winds, the other thing we want to mention tonight, and the reason why we're concerned about power outages, as I was just showing you that map, potential for some isolated power outages, is because those winds are going to pick up tonight after midnight. At the same time, we're going to see that transition after midnight to that sleet and freezing rain. And so the combination of much stronger wind gusts and ice is not a good thing, especially on the power lines in those areas. So the good news is the system isn't going to stick around for long. It's moving pretty quickly. And if we could just go back to this weather computer here, Dan, I'm just going to show you the latest radar image that we have right there. And as you can see, it is moving pretty quickly. I'm going to lift that up to the north. We are right there underneath all of that. And we're going to see that changeover. Check this graph out. This is a temperature graph showing you what's going to happen hourly as we move through the overnight. Look at that thing climbing. By 5 a.m., we're going to be near 37, 38 degrees. So again, this is why we're going to see that changeover to that sleet and then just some plain rain. It's not going to be nearly the conditions that we had over the last 20 hours. You see that? That's what I said. So by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's actually going to be warmer than it is right now, and we'll be pushing some spots close to 40. Look at us the last 20 hours. It's a night and day ball game. See that? So that's why we're expecting the changeover. You know, Allie, that's one of the questions that I get asked all the time. People say to me, Kurt, there's Arctic air in place, and you're talking about a changeover to sleet and freezing rain?
It was hard to imagine this morning and yesterday morning, definitely. It was definitely hard to imagine that. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, that 2 below we had here this morning, that's the coldest we've seen all season.
Yeah, below zero for sure. And on that graph, you can see we climbed into the upper 20s. So at 8 o'clock, we're now at about 27 degrees. We're going to continue to warm up, as I just showed you. We're likely going to go up another 10 degrees on top of where we are now. So, Allie, we're just starting this. We've got a ways to go. One last thing I will show you, just a recap on this. And again, we're expecting a general snow, 3 to 6 inches, 4 to 8 possible. But as we talked about on the phone earlier today, Allie, I'm a little concerned. Maybe some upsloping there in the Poconos could add to some totals there. But most of us, the Wyoming Valley, Susquehanna Valley, pretty much will fall in that category. So listen, I know you've got a 9 o'clock update to do, so I'm going to throw it back to you. You can close it out, okay? And I appreciate you letting us come in and chat.
Thanks for joining me tonight. And just one final reminder, Kurt mentioned the app. We have a great radar, interactive radar on the app. So you can text the word app, APP, to 570-826-1616. And from there, you'll get a link and you can download it. And again, there's a really good interactive radar. So you'll be able to see when that changeover is happening if you're awake overnight tonight when it does happen. But for now, I'm going to be doing another cut-in on WNEP in just a couple of minutes, and then we'll have full forecast at 10 on WNEP2 and 11 on WNEP.
Keep up the good work, Allie.
See you tomorrow, Kurt.
Folks, thank you very much. We're going to have a good night, and stay safe out there, and we'll keep you updated. I promise. You can go to our social media sites, too. We update there all the time. Have a good night, everybody.